tech aficionados. Welcome back to Quantum Quirks, a podcast to keep you updated on tech and AI, even if you've been so busy you haven't been able to keep up every day. I'm your host, Edgar Lombardi, here to guide you through the latest buzz in the world of innovation. Today, we're diving into 3 juicy stories that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. First up, we're talking about 2 big-shot investors who are feeling a bit overwhelmed by the flood of pitches about artificial intelligence. It seems like everyone's jumping on the AI bandwagon these days. But what's behind this sudden craze? We'll find out today. Next, we've got some news from the digital archives. Google search's cache links are saying goodbye. Yep, those handy links we've relied on for ages are officially retiring. But don't fret, folks. Change is part of life, and who knows what cool stuff Google has up its sleeve next. Last but not least, let's talk about jobs and AI. The governor of the Bank of England says AI won't cause massive job losses. Sounds reassuring, right? But let's dig deeper into what this means for our future workforce and how we can navigate these changes together. Mamoun Hamid and Ilya Fushman of Kleiner Perkins. More than 80% of pitches now involve AI. Mamoun Hamid and Ilya Fushman are 2 longtime VCs whose paths first crossed as children in Frankfurt, Germany, and who were brought in to reboot the storied venture firm Kleiner Perkins roughly 6 years ago. They've seemingly accomplished their mission to burnish the brand. Among Kleiner's bets in recent years, Rippling, the workforce management company founded by serial entrepreneur Parker Conrad that was valued at more than $11 billion last year. Loom, a video messaging outfit recently acquired by Atlassian for just under $1 billion. And Figma, the design tool company that came this close to being acquired by Adobe for $20 billion, and that Fushman and Hamid argue is now happily charting a course as an independent company. Perhaps unsurprisingly, Team Kleiner is also leaning heavily into AI investments. And it's these about which we spent the most time talking. You can find video of that chat at page bottom. Meanwhile, excerpts from our conversation, edited lightly for length and clarity, follow. The last time we sat down together in person was 4 years ago at an earlier Strictly VC event. At the time, SoftBank dominated the conversation. It has since retrenched. What do you think its impact was on the industry? We're coming off of 3 to 4 years of just incredible amounts of capital going into venture. And that's not just SoftBank. That's a lot of folks who've had growth funds, crossover funds. And that flooding of capital has done a few things. 1, it created a lot of big companies. 2, some of those companies became overfunded, and some of them now have to rationalize what happens to them. Our contrarian approach when we were here 4 years ago was to go back to basics and focus on early-stage startups. Primarily, where we said, hey, we're just going to have a venture fund and a very small team. We've always thought this is much more a boutique business than some of these larger players. Your firm appears bigger than when we last sat down. You now have investors and specialists and advisors from the old guard at KP, including Bing Gordon and John Doerr. Ma H, I think we might actually be smaller than we last met. I think our total headcount in the firm is in the low 50s. Does everything AI change anything? Can you do more with less? Or do you actually need more? People chasing after all these AI researchers who keep leaving Google to start companies. It's incredible to have this tidal wave of technology innovation. I moved to the Valley in 1987 when we were in the middle of the internet boom. And to be able to live another boom like this twice in your lifetime feels like a dream. So I think there's no better time to be alive than today and to invest in startups. Because, to your point, there is going to be a step function change in how we all get to live and experience life, as well as how we work. It will come in the form of productivity that we will all gain through AI. And I think we're already seeing that in the kinds of businesses that we're backing, whether it's like in legal or in healthcare or for software developers. AI is really supercharging the highest paid type of employees that are out there. They get to do more in less time. Regarding all these AI engineers spinning out, are VCs actively reaching into these big companies with offers to stake them? Have you done this? I think that's definitely happening, but the pull factor of AI, the wow factor, has actually pulled folks out of these companies themselves. As these tools become more useful and data becomes more accessible, these opportunities are becoming much more obvious and much more accessible. The big thing for us with this first wave of folks trying to come out and start these companies was trying to understand, are they really the folks who know how to do this? We rely on our founders for help with these questions. We look for that pedigree, the folks who know how these things work. If you think back to the last 10 years in venture, there are these waves where technical talent becomes the scarcest resource, and we're seeing that right now. How are your portfolio companies dealing with this challenge in terms of hiring? Meta and Google and OpenAI are offering multi-million-dollar packages for this talent to stick around. If we have companies that, like Harvey, are transforming the legal profession. We have companies like Ambience that are transforming healthcare. We have companies like Viz that are doing automated stroke detection and medical diagnostics. The mission definitely resonates with the people who are joining those companies. That's a huge component. Second, while platform companies are building a lot of phenomenal infrastructure, but when you get into real-world use cases and go into these niches that turn out to be really big over time, you realize that you need to tweak the models and potentially build your own models and potentially your own infrastructure. And that becomes a really interesting technical challenge, which is also incredibly attractive. From the outside, it's hard to understand how these startups build moats, or how strong these moats can be given how quickly everything is changing. It depends on the company. Moats and overall market size are the most difficult things to figure out as an investor. They're typically the things you get wrong the most. One thing we've learned over our history is that we always undervalue our biggest winners. The companies that do the best always grow faster. They create or expand their market much more than anybody could have anticipated. So we look for some intangibles, one of which is incredible engagement from customers. Like when the product becomes part of your daily use, that is really hard to tear out. The more obvious piece of the moat is the piece of the market that you're in. A lot of the companies that we're backing, especially in AI, they're taking a big problem space that a company can and should own. Enterprise Assistant, for example, that's a big space. And the people who figure that out first are going to be the people who move the fastest. If you look at AI, unless you've built an incredible product that's just flying off the shelves, you don't get distribution for free the way you did with mobile. AI requires distribution, and it requires data to improve the product experience. So, the first movers who define a category of a product can, in our view, run much faster than anyone else. How many AI-related pitches are you seeing on a weekly or monthly basis? From a percentage standpoint, I'd say more than 80%. To be fair, if you were building a company in 1996 and you didn't mention the internet, you'd be out of your mind, right? In the same vein, not mentioning AI or utilizing it would be a missed opportunity. And how active are you in this realm, if we can call it that, MH? If you looked like last year from Q1 to Q3, it was the slowest year we'd had in 13, 14, 15 years. December, meanwhile, was a really good month. That's around when you let a deal in Together AI, a very buzzy deal. Why are people so fascinated with this company? If it's running a platform and set of services for people who want to run their own models. It's a bit of, in some ways, an orthogonal bet to sort of the oligopoly centered on OpenAI, Microsoft, and Google, who provide infrastructure. But it's a company with incredible customers, really strong growth, and a phenomenal nominal team. And the numbers speak for themselves. Again, we're building vertical experiences in healthcare, legal, software, engineering, science. And there will be fine-tuning and proprietary modeling that may be required for some of these use cases. And that opportunity is actually quite exciting because of that. I understand you have also invested in a wearable started by somebody who would make VCs salivate. Tell us more, MH. I'm not sure I can tell you more today. I don't think they would like that. Next time, based on what you are seeing, do you think one AI wearable will win? Just as we carry around one phone, will we use one wearable device? I think we all ask ourselves the question of what is the computing platform beyond the mobile phone. Some people put on Oura rings. Some put on Fitbits. I'm wearing a Whoop. These are pretty basic wearables. They're not all that smart. What's capturing the imagination of all of us is what is the next computing wearable that we're all going to adopt. That doesn't look like a cell phone. There's the rabbit. There's the Humane AI pin. And soon you'll see the Vision Pro Vision. There's exciting stuff happening. But as you know, it's very difficult to get consumers to adopt a new form, factor, and a new way of doing things. It takes some incredible design and a low-cost product and beautiful interfaces. And I think we're excited to see all these things. Google Search's cache links are officially being retired. Google has removed links to page caches from its search results page, the company's search liaison, Danny Sullivan, has confirmed. It was meant for helping people access pages when way back. You often couldn't depend on a page loading, Sullivan wrote on X. These days, things have greatly improved. So, it was decided to retire it. The cache feature historically lets you view a web page as Google sees it, which is useful for a variety of different reasons beyond just being able to see a page that's struggling to load. SEO professionals could use it to debug their sites or even keep tabs on competitors. And it can also be an enormously helpful news-gathering tool, giving reporters the ability to see exactly what information a company has added or removed from a website, and a way to see details that people or companies might be trying to scrub from the web. Or, if a site is blocked in your region, Google's cache can work as a great alternative to a VPN. A page's cache has typically been accessible via a couple of different routes. There was a cached button that would appear at the bottom of the About This Result panel, accessible from the 3-button menu next to a search result. And, for those in the know, you could also append the prefix cache to a URL before searching for it to hop instantly into Google's cached version. Here's how the cached button used to appear in search results back in 2021 versus what I'm seeing as of today. The removal of Google's cache links has been taking place gradually over the past couple of months and isn't complete just yet. Over at Search Engine Roundtable, Barry Schwartz spotted that the links were disappearing intermittently from search results in early December, and they're removed entirely as of the end of January. In his tweet, Danny Sullivan confirmed that in addition to removing the links, the cache search operator will also be going away in the near future. Although the cache links are only now being discontinued, the writing's been on the wall for a while. In early 2021, Google developer relations engineer Martin Splitt said the cached view was a basically unmaintained legacy feature. It doesn't sound like Google has any immediate plans to replace the feature, but Sullivan says he hopes that Google could add links to the Internet Archive that could instead be used to show how a web page has changed over time. No promises, he cautions. We have to talk to them, see how it all might go. Involves people well beyond me, but I think it would be nice all around. Bank of England, Governor. AI won't lead to mass job losses. Andrew Bailey, Governor of the Bank of England, has rebutted fears that AI will lead to widespread unemployment. I'm an economic historian. Before I became a central banker, economies adapt, jobs adapt, and we learn to work with it. And I think you get a better result by people with machines than with machines on their own, Bailey told the BBC. Bailey's comments come as the latest economic assessment shows that UK businesses investing in AI are expected to see gains in efficiency and output. Utilizing AI is anticipated to provide productivity benefits across multiple sectors. However, Baroness Stowell of the House of Lords has cautioned that the UK risks missing out on the AI gold rush if it does not act quickly. A report from the Lords Communications and Digital Committee honed in on large language models and tools like ChatGPT. The report called for updated copyright laws and urged the government to provide clarity on AI regulation, warning too much could hinder AI development in the country. The financial services industry also stands to gain from responsible AI adoption. Generative AI brings potentially exciting benefits for financial institutions. When it comes to fighting financial crime, AI can improve the accuracy and speed of detection, said Dr. Henry Balani, head of regulatory affairs at Encompass Corporation.